Without a doubt, without a doubt. So we're going to have to see if they continue to go down that route here for Talon. If you want another strong lane, because Gladiators have very strong lanes at the moment. So we get that 24th pick to be able to outrun your draft, whether it's going to be Jabz or Savage, to be able to secure their lane.
Looks like they're still discussing it between the two of them. They're the only ones really raising any kind of points within the Talon camp right now. A little surprised that Sunby hasn't, you know, done the classic coach thing and yoinked one of their seats.
The plays be comfy.
Ooh.
The Naga. Okay. So is
I'm just waiting, just in case it's a Jabz one, because you know it's a C specialty to be able to put the Naga Siren in the off lane. Obviously, if Masros was here for SMG, he would have been doing it all the way going back to KP as well. He loves that off lane Naga Siren, but it's going to be 23 Savage playing it. It is going to be a Jabz Wraith King coming through. It kind of goes away from that pick-off style that I was talking about. I suppose you do go into the Orchid a little early on the Naga Siren if you really wanted to go down that sort of route. And they are a little bit single target focused, but I mean, again, you've got the Wind Panda to be able to deal with some of those Naga illusions early on before she gets a lot of those stats. So it's a good way to be able to clear out a lot of 23 Savage's team fight effectiveness if it does get to that stage. But remember, that's not really what Talon are going for, right? They're going for the burst. They want to be the ones that are initiating and starting things off. And I'm sure that's what Sunby in the background is drilling into his boys right now.
It's definitely an interesting read, right? Where you can, I know you're mentioning a lot about Talon's potential to just go for these pickoffs and avoid the team fights. And that's something that Illusion Heroes can really help enable, where you just split up the map. We've spoken the supports on Gladiators are really going to struggle with dealing with these Naga illusions. So, you know, we'll see. Do you even have the potential, like if Egg is used, you can song to kill it or retreat, depending on how Quinn's going to use his coils. So there's a lot of like disengage your methods out of Talon now just with this Naga. And again, Gladiators, they're very team fight heavy, very cooldown reliant. So we're going to have to look at Talon and how they can open up the map. You need to get these Mikoto's rotations on point. You're going to need a pretty decent blink timing out of Q. So his also early rotations going to be pivotal on how early he can get his blink. But you know, if Gaimin Gladiators can just get their levels on their supports, their cores, take a couple fights with their ultimates and start to build that lead, and if they can get these 5-on-5 fights, it can still look a bit scary for Talon. But the Naga really throws a experiment in the works here. So we'll see what Savage can do.
We will. And like I was saying before during the earlier stage of the draft, I really still think despite having this quite aggressive, pick-off heavy, and even tower push-oriented draft, it is still going to be a low-ish 10 to 15 minutes, at least from Talon's perspective. That's what they want. They want to get their core items online. Like you said, Q needs to get into that early Blink Dagger if possible. But once they hit that timing, once they truly come online, I'm expecting to see these four heroes minus Savage on the Naga Siren just grouping up and trying to ball down these towers. Burst them with the Decrep, Nether Blast, Hero Vessel, which I'm sure Mikoto will have at the time. And well, good to see a little bit of banter going on in the overall chat. Broski come through from 23.
Project Mbappe. All right.
What do you think about the dot cringe after 23 Savage's name?
Bit cringe. I don't know. I was expecting something a little bit better. I guess he's got no sponsor tag. Dyrachyo.
Right away.
Should be fine. Jabz. Oh.
He's in the fog nicely.
Get the illusion.
We get to
plus
we
two,
get
baby.
to enjoy the Naga Siren illusions as well. The noise of the washing machine coming through.
Hang on.
Every single right click.
They got two illusions. Hang on, this extra 2 gold for Quinn and tOfu to start.
Is it over?
I don't know. Let's see how many bounties they get as well. See if we get a fight too. So of course, both sides well aware of the current positioning. We'll see. This is going to be such an exciting matchup. Like you said, you know, previously Talon, they knocked out Gladiators at Riyadh. We've seen previously Dream League. Gladiators, I think it was Dream League Season 20 actually knocked out Talon in the playoffs as well. So been back and forth between these two teams for the entire year. It does look like GG is going to be able to find 3 bounties as well to start.
I love the Seleri mind games coming through as well. Only waiting to drop the good luck, have fun after they get that mid D ward off as well. I mean, he does little things that are kind of crazy. Like in the middle of the game, like after a play, even if someone was completely uninvolved, he'll tip them. Even if they weren't supposed to be part of that, he'll tip them just to kind of, you know, sow some of that discourse into the rest of the team. Like, why is he tipping him? What are we talking about? It's all about that little extra edge that you're trying to get throughout these games.
Edge is always important. Always important. You get a little bit of advantage against these two teams. They're so evenly matched. Such a treat as we get to see them already being able to battle it out in such an important series. Q down to 100 health though, so early on, dyrachyo and Seleri putting a lot of damage into the two. This could be a very messy lane though for Talon. Double melee, really going to struggle with the Fire Spirits. Again, Chaos Knight probably one of the better laning carries behind the Trolls. So, and this is not going to get easier as levels go on as well.
No, it's really the level 2 timing that I'm looking for here on Gaimin Gladiators, right? Tiny has 0 armor to be able to start things off. He's bought a Ring of Protection specifically because of this purpose, going up against a Chaos Knight. And, you know, when that Reality Rift comes online, well, maybe you won't have the mana pool for it, actually, considering he has been spamming out the Chaos Bolts, but it really is going to put Q in a lot of strife. You know, going down to -2 armor, you're probably going to be able to secure the kill onto him. So it's important for Talon that they get up to a level 2 pretty quickly on him, just to get that early point in the Avalanche and disrupt any kind of aggressive plays that GG might be trying to make against them.
I mean, are you already considering about maybe even just dragging the wave? I know it's not as potent as what it used to be, but is this something you're considering from Talon to maybe offset the current lane setup? Because we see level 2, they're going to go. Jabz should be our first blood with a dive slow. dyrachyo doesn't need to dive under the tower thanks to Seleri's damage over time. And they will take a little bit of damage from the create waves. Q's still going to hold them down as well with the Avalanche, but it's a nice hit back damage-wise. But nonetheless, still that first blood gold is going to be huge in this lane.
It's going to be Seleri getting it again. So got the D-Ward gold, got the first blood gold, and you know, again, Phoenix really doesn't need all that much to be able to have a really high level of impact.
Cold on mid. What's happening here, actually? Cold stuff could be frustrating with the create wave. Yeah, Quinn joined over the right side, so has some water runes to play with, but we already see this mid matchup as well. Quinn trying to, you know, put it to the edge here on Mikoto.
It's going to mean that with that dive, he ends up losing the flag bearer creep, so doesn't have that little bit of extra regen. But of course, with the Invoker, somewhat sustainable, right? You've got the Cold Snap to be able to play around with if you wanted to just sit in the Ghost Walk. Probably a little bit too early level-wise to do it. Yeah.
Nice Avalanche to be able to cover Jabz at the moment. But the stun as well on the dive. Seleri will actually go down. A much-needed kill for Talon.
Yeah, very, very nicely done by Q, specifically making sure that he's able to follow him up on the backside. And again, just that Wraith Fire Blast mid-air. That's, if you're going to make these big brain plays, trying to dive in onto them.
dyrachyo? These skeleton damage is really starting to stack up here on dyrachyo.
He's got a tree.
Is it enough? Oh. No, 20 health. Is he Q? What? Looking for the TARS.
Why not? Got to go for those sorts of plays. And you were talking about the regen. Gaimin Gladiators is out of regen, and because they've gone for that earlier kill threat, yeah, they've got 1 point of the Chaos Strike, but it's just not enough to be able to keep yourself safe up on this top side. But still, overall, all lanes going fairly well for the Gaimin Gladiators right now. We haven't really been talking about bot all that much, have we?
Oh, Ace off to a good start. 19-6. To the 16-3 currently for the Brewmaster. We'll see what his item build's going to be. You know, we've got him like Brown Boots, Midas, Radiance, maybe a little bit of extra utility as well as a potential. Is there something you are looking at here for Ace?
I think the Radiance would work fairly well, right? You know that it's going to prevent perhaps a little bit of damage.
I don't know about this.
Middle.
Yeah, they wanted to go for Ollie, but it just meant that Savage was freely able to right-click. And now Ace is in some danger as well. Decrypt to slow him down so Savage can get in front of the retreating Brewmaster. This eventually will be a double kill, and we are seeing the power of this Pugna again. Talon, they played it 3 times with 3 victories in the group stages, and Ollie's really given a good start over to Savage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when they were playing it in the games leading up to the road to the International, like, it was by far their most common picked hero to be able to pair together with a lot of these other combinations. And, well, I've even talking about, we often see a lot of supports don't have a ton of synergy. You can get kills with just this Pugna and Q once he starts to get into that Blink Dagger timing.
Dude, Quinn is bodying mid though. 34-6 compared to the 26-4. Very impressed with the start that we're seeing out of the puck so far. And of course, we know previously, actually top lane Jabz looking to TP out. Oh, we died in base. Stun still cooldown for dyrachyo. Q should be able to get back to the tower. Are they actually looking to go for it? No, never mind.
It's a big deal to have the Wraith King all the way back there, basically level on net worth with Seleri up until this point off the back of the first slot. But again, oh, wasn't expecting that.
Oh, some big kills now for Gladiators. You get that one up top. Ollie's now going to be pressured out as well. So yeah, a couple core kills, 1,000 net worth lead early, and this might help the supports to rotate to try and secure the power. And we've already got Q.
It's obvious though, Quinn knows he's here. Ooh, nicely done. There wasn't too much more that Quinn could have done there. He did. But I mean, the thing is, you had a creep wave half underneath this top tier 1 tower, and Q wasn't getting it. They knew that Jabz didn't have a TP, so he was either stacking or going for the power rune, and you would have to assume that the power rune was the one that they were prioritizing. Still, though, that extra regen rune is going to provide a lot to Mikoto. I mean, we were talking about, in terms of last hits, coming out a little bit on top on Quinn, but Mikoto, in terms of net worth, is right there with him. Yeah,
actually, definitely not botting. Not botting at all. Yeah, he's still doing a very good job. What do we want to see out of these mid laners, though? Because with Coswex, already we will get our first rotation out of Mikoto, so shove the wave with the Tornado. Now looking to try and play with Jabz as well. Q is not nearby. It's just going to be the 2 cores on Talon. First rotation.
Question of how close does he get to that sentry that's currently blocking the hard camp. Doesn't look like he'll be able to make anything happen.
And they've got the read. Of course, Quinn shoves out the lane. So where would we like to see Quinn rotate to as well? Then, you know, that coil, of course, first one of the game could almost just guarantee a kill. Is there a lane you would prefer the puck to move to?
I'd personally prefer him to go to top, just because Jabz has already had a pretty rough start, and it's going to just be put this Wraith King in the bin. You don't exactly provide a ton of utility when you're being played as an offlane, and they've got that kill threat there with the Chaos Knight as well, guaranteed.
Wonder when we're even going to see Ollie maybe think about making a play, you know, potentially through the portal. Currently hugging around this mid lane.
Whacking away at this tier 1 tower already. He's level 5 at 7.5 minutes, so 3 points Nether Blast. He could put a little bit of damage in.
I mean, that could be really frustrating. Just the Pugna showing mid, shoving the wave, putting pressure on the tower to force someone here, which could enable Mikoto. And we're going to see again him to consider about moving top, but
yeah, he's got the urn coming out to him now, and he's probably retreating back to be able to contest this top power rune. No one covering bottom side for Talon right now. Gaimin Gladiators have secured that one, and it's going to be an arcane rune. So what more could you ask for as a puck?
Seleri going to be able to stop the dive away. Let's get some separation. Still going to hunt with the tornado, but off the mark. So Seleri again. Mikoto, these movements, we are going to see. I mean, he's currently fine in net worth, but
you got to make sure you're keeping up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big thing. With you got to make these early rotations count. You got to get those charges in the Urn of Shadows. You don't want it to be because you've died, and now they're actually going to go for a rotation of their own with that arcane rune, and they know they have to deal with this mid creep wave.
Jabz in a lot of danger. I mean, more heroes from Dire starting to funnel to top. You just have to sacrifice Jabz. In fact, he's even going to be able to TP out. Quinn is still going to be there nonetheless with the coil. So get the kill onto Q. Is this all 5 heroes? Everyone from Dire is at this top side.
He was able to TP out as a result of all of that. So, I mean, it's a lot of heroes being committed. And again, 23 Savage is happy on this bottom side. He's playing the Naga Siren. Maybe they feel on Gaimin Gladiators that, you know what, we've got the Brewmaster. We haven't had to use the split just yet. We have the answers to it early on before she gets too many stats that the Wind Panda is just going to be absolutely able to wreck it with the Dispel magic.
Do you feel like... Oh, I'll actually hold that because we might have a bit of a brawl once again with 3 heroes around mid. The play is going to be, of course, Dire. They have this ward that was able to scout out Q's currently position. tOfu's hanging behind Quinn as well. So it looks like the puck should be fine. Do you feel like, because we just saw the read, like Gladiators are putting so much emphasis on defending their tower. That was the big advantage we spoke about with Talon, with the Nether Blast and the Wraith King to take these early objectives. Do you agree that Gladiators should like bring 4-5 members to defend these early towers, or should they just play the macro game?
I think they're banking on the fact that Talon are going to overcommit and they're going to really be able to come out on top with any sort of defense, because you can't have that sort of thing happen where you only end up getting a support, right? 23 Savage getting a ton of farm is
Seleri, this could be dangerous. Coil with the egg, but they just blow up Quinn. His health pool disappeared. Mikoto's going to go under the cover of the Ghost Walker. Pretty good dead shot, but really not going to help out too much in the end. Another turnaround's going to be there. What can these 2 supports do to pressure Talon? I mean, tOfu will use the defensive ultimate. Mikoto can still stall out the retreat. Even got Tornado with the ready. An avalanche will help them close the distance. A little bit messy with a tornado, and tOfu actually gets out. They stop the tree throw damage, and our Seleri is going to be back with a combo. Ace comes out of nowhere as well.
He won't be.
He's got the ultimate ready to go if they want to continue chasing, and in the end, I mean, it's a support for Quinn's life. You're probably happy with it for Talon, but it's a messy spellcasting nonetheless. Top lane dyrachyo. Mikoto's got to look to try and tip in with Jabz. He's just got him far too aggressive in this lane. They recognize there's a very vulnerable Chaos Knight to these rotations, and they will be able to capitalize off the back of that. He's going to try and make it work for the kill. Surely not, right?
Toss forward?
dyrachyo? No way.
Toss? Oh my god, he's getting away. Chaos Knight is just so speedy, man.
Mikoto, can he catch up to him?
No, he doesn't have Cold Snap or Tornado and or anything. Nicely done. So much space. So that's a couple of kills that you really probably should have converted onto, both one onto tOfu with the Avalanche being used at the same time as the Tornado, not dealing that additional amount of damage. And yeah, dyrachyo getting away with murder there. The plus side, at least still for Talon, is they do have this pushing style lineup. So Ollie is just chipping away at this top tower. It doesn't matter if a couple of creeps get hit into that mid tier 1. There's not too much significant damage being done there, and they are going to be opening up the map even further for Savage to play completely uncontested right now on this bottom side of the map.
This tower does have to go down now, though. Like we've seen, Gladiators done a pretty good job to stall it out for a couple minutes, and with Egg on cooldown, we are going to have some difficulties of potentially defending this tower with multiple heroes. And yeah, does look like Talon will be successful. You also take
lucky as well. Power rune top side for Q. So Quinn was right in position to be able to secure that one and maybe make a bit of a move down here to be able to gank Savage. But without that, you don't have as much of that surprise factor. They're pinging it out right now that they have been missing off the map for quite some time. So let's see where Savage looks to move.
Both sides are making their own play. Currently, they're going to... Talon will run into dyrachyo first. They don't want to go for the CK meme or Savage.
Song.
Did he even...
That's the next level play.
Oh, well done.
I saw Quinn underneath the tower, but anyway.
Okay, so both sides look for their own individual play across the map. Will both be thwarted as well. So this will give a bit of an opportunity now for Gladiators, maybe to put some pressure onto the tier 1 tower. I mean, they're ready to go to force a 5v5 fight. With these ultimates back up, do you even need to, though? Because again, I mean, Ace, Midas, 2k gold in the bank. Are you looking to really take these big engagements at the moment from Dial?
I think you can, just because, again, Talon aren't quite ready yet. But I think what Talon are doing is pretty good. They're not committing their Wraith King to a lot of these pushes. They're not committing 23 Savage to a lot of these pushes. They're only putting heroes that are going to provide a lot of effectiveness in terms of being able to do some tower damage, open up the map, but it's not the absolute worst if they die, and they've got a lot of saves for them in terms of stuns, decrep, heal, tornado, lots of stuff to be able to make sure that they're not giving their lives up for free.
I haven't even noticed. Jabz has a Midas queued up. So we are... I mean, this is the classic Talon greed, right? Like trying to go ultra late game. See if he's going to be able to get to that stage. So smoke off from Talon, looking to try and move down bottom to slow down some of the farm that Ace is getting. These two heroes by themselves might lack the damage. Ace can have the potential to get his ultimate off. The timing needs to be perfect with the chain control.
They decrep him.
Ace, there we go.
But still, I mean, not having Bruce Split now makes you feel like, you know what, okay, we're a lot more confident to be able to take a lot of these fights. We saw there the Tumbler's toy on Q. Doesn't have the Blink Dagger just yet, but does provide him that little bit of extra initiation. I mean, the Savage and Jabz are going to be very happy about this as well. You know, they don't have that extra little bit of lockdown. They don't have that team fight. Maybe they can get a little bit more greedy with the farm that they're looking to try and pick up.
I mean, we see Mikoto just queued up the Midas as well after the Vessel. This tower is under some danger. Oh, very awkward dead shot.
There was a Ricky in the river.
Ah, okay. Right. Just trying to break down some trees to stop the TP locations in. I see.
For sure.
No Celeries here?
Mikoto be fine, though. I mean, Savage is right behind him.
Bro's going to break. Dive directly on the top. Do they want to deal with the egg of retreat? Savage and Ollie's going to try and turn to bring it down the ditch. Man, so close from tOfu to keep it up, but see, Talon nonetheless will be able to bring him down. Now they're going to look for more. Quinn jukes over to the right side, but Q, perfect placement out of the Tiny. He's going to make sure there is no escape from the mid lane on Gladiators, or is there? Another orb to get some separation, and Quinn will get out of danger.
Barely. One more second and he would have been dead to rights. Looks like Mikoto might even be looking to try and go for a bit of a follow-up here. He might see the illusory orb going up towards the north side, and he's got those spirit vessel charges.
Nice hunting, Mikoto. Going to be able to stop the Sunray instantly. Now Q's even moving over as well. They should be able to get a double kill as a result to this Mikoto. Hunting deep behind the tower, getting ready to potentially punish any defense out of Gaimin Gladiators.
I've been really impressed with how Savage has been playing this game so far. You know, sure, he dies one time on the bottom side, but just the realization that he has this complete bottom side of the map to be able to farm. He's put himself a good amount ahead in terms of net worth. He made sure to use the song to be able to get away when they went for that one attempt. And then when they thought that maybe they could try and make a kill attempt of their own, he's in there, right in the position to be able to use that early Manta style, to be able to use all of that net worth as a significant threat. So really, really liking the Savage play so far. Again, 9 games, 9th unique hero from him. So the man is versatile.
And he is really taking over in the net worth. Up there by long shot. I mean, it does have to be said that the rest of the cores on Talon are struggling to keep up in farm, but importantly, you've got this blink on Q ready to go. He's not with the team just yet for this attempt.
Big fingers by Quinn.
So Jabz is still...
pop all that much on Talon to be able to make that kill attempt happen, right? You've got Q, like you mentioned, going to be about to come in as he refills his... He's got a Midas as well on the Tiny, by the way. We're going to have, what, 4? Okay. 3 Midases? 3 Midases.
Should be 3.
On Talon.
So maybe I'll wait, because I think they're going to look to try and make a play off the back of the blink on Q. So they do see dyrachyo farming top, which would be a huge kill.
Of vision around this top side as well.
And they should get him. Stuck around for a little bit too long. dyrachyo's been flawless so far, 17 minutes in. But Talon finally going to be able to close the door into the Chaos Knight. They are instant TPs coming through from Gladiators. Are they going to be fast enough to keep him alive? Sunray's out from Seleri. dyrachyo getting a lot of bonus health back with the life steal as well. Now the Supernova gives him firm control. dyrachyo is all a bait, and now with Gladiators here, they can look to clean up. Jabz is going to end up going down. They'll be rewarded with the kill on TQ, but Savage wants to turn the fight. The first fight for him, looking to get involved. He's got that Orchid ready in the arsenal, but it's still messy. Mikoto doesn't have the health pool to bite back as well. Now Ace, he wants to charge on full, but the song will stop him short. Savage is able to TP out, but dyrachyo lives long enough. The boys come in full force, and that's a 3-for-1 in the end.
It's just those little things, right? Millimeters of difference. The chain control wasn't perfect before he was able to get the Phantasm off, which meant that you ended up hitting the wrong Phantasm illusion. Look at all that damage as well coming out from Seleri. This is the reason why I'm saying, teams, I know it's been picked a fair amount already, but pick Phoenix more against a lot of these beefy heroes in these longer team fights. It really does shine.
Yes, another attempt potentially.
Yep.
Underneath this observe ward.
No split now. But it's against the Radiance.
Should nonetheless, with all the magical damage, be able to bring him down.
The chance this time.
So again, this is the big thing we brought up in the draft, right? Like, Gladiators, you're playing with a lineup that is very cooldown reliant. So Talon, this is where you can look to really put some pressure onto the map. And it's going to be up to Quinn kind of to stall it out. I mean, you see instantly shoves out mid. It's going to force Talon to respond. And now we've got a little bit of break in the action. How do we feel about this going late game? Because your Gladiators, you look, again, 5v5 team fight looks super scary. But Talon feel like with their Midas is maybe they can compete up against this. Quinn, nice silence. Wow.
He's going to need to coil Q. He knows the kill threat's coming there from the Tiny. And yeah, the multiple Midases... okay, ends up snapping the coil anyway. Yeah, the multiple Midases really do lean it slightly more towards Talon than what I would normally predict. And also just the fact that it's Q playing the Tiny, right? We've seen what this man is able to do. We've seen his mid to late game impact. You could, kind of like the Muerta, honestly, become that legitimate fourth core for the team. So I really feel like it's going to be pretty damn even if it gets late. That's going to be the fact that Talon are playing around this ward as well, right? It's something that I was really wanting them to do. They knew with the kill that they were able to secure onto Ace that it was obvious that that sort of area was warded. So not only do they protect it, they also get rid of an observer ward of game and zone. But still, net worth is literally dead even.
And the reason why it was like that for quite some time was because of 23 Savage, but now it's given time for, Jabz. His Midas is continuing to pay off. He had a Blade Mail queued up for quite some time, but it's currently the Radius that he's changed his mind to. We are seeing he's looking for that ultra scale, which we have kind of seen from some of the offlane Wraith Kings, you know, Radiance, Interceptor. I know earlier today, we got the kind of core Wraith King from Noticed on Virtus Pro, so a different choice here from Jabz, but yeah, like you said, still very close this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Wraith King Ags is pretty significant this game. I mean, you consider the sort of heroes that you're playing alongside. Like, it probably means another Avatos combination, for example, if Q ends up dying, and that's a significant amount of burst damage. It means a lot more damage coming out from Ollie. Like, these sorts of things are super significant once it gets to the later stages. And again, the Midas is really starting to pay off now.
But they are. What about some of the support itemization? We've spoken a lot about Mikoto having a very versatile item build. We see tOfu 4, 1, and 2, highest net worth out of the support. So he can kind of go for some different items to help out. We'll see how we can get involved off the back of the smoke here. Gladiators is the target. Q's currently going to show on the lane. They should know a smoke's going on, though. Ace revealed the Cinderbrew and the clap. So let's see that whether they play accordingly now on Talon. And yeah, it's just an all retreat.
Not even defending this mid wave at all. They're letting dyrachyo be the one to be able to take it out. They know something's up. They would much rather have better positioning or no positioning at all. They're just going to back off completely. So time wasted, more value for Midases. You know that Gaimin Gladiators aren't farming. You're okay in general. And for the fact that their tier 1 tower mid lasted until 21.5 minutes, I think they're fairly satisfied.
Yeah, so I was going to...
Making a bit of a line being drawn on the map now, but I'm sure Jabz is saying, guys, just give me a little bit more time. 400 gold away from my Radiance. That'll be a real difference maker against this CK.
Are they looking for their own smoke here for Talon? What's the group up as well?
They want to, but yeah, like Jabz really just wants literally an extra 30 seconds. So,
okay, so
what can you do to the lanes in that time?
I'm going to mention before, do you like the route from tOfu going the Lotus? Like, is there any other things? Okay.
Like, by far, I think it's the best item this game, considering what you're up against, right? It means no targeted stun from the Wraith King, no slow from the Wraith King, no cold snap, no orchid, no decrepify. It's a lot of stuff that it protects you against, even just the toss from Q as well. So these sorts of things are really going to be high value for them. I mean, even just the armor component as well, right? Against the Wraith King and the Naga Siren feels pretty good.
Some big item timings, though. Savage completes the heart.
Both teams. And
there's the Radiance as well for the Wraith King. So we are ready to go. And we're probably at a stage where we need to be looking towards Roche. I'd say Die maybe struggle a little bit more at taking that. But Radiant, without a doubt, should be able to if they have a little bit more time. So it is going to be down bottom for the next 2 minutes. No one currently has too much vision set up in the area.
Quinn knows there's people nearby with that Nether Ward being placed down. So ends up just being able to poke and prod onto Q. He knows that unless Savage is there, there's no way he's going to die. And even then, he's got the Yule Scepter to be able to play around with for that Orchid. So it really is Q being the main hero that he needs to be worried about. I wonder if they're even making the call of, you know what, we wanted the Radiance on Jabz, now we want the Midas on Q before we make any sorts of plays. Hell, even if we end up dying, we're still going to be impacting our net worth positively. Not if he dies, though, and gives up a good amount of that unreliable gold.
Back-to-back smokes that might not work out. Jabz is going to act as a bait. Pops the smoke, of course. Can eat a lot of the spells. They haven't used too many big abilities, though. Meme all over to the left side. Savage going toe-to-toe. It's a pretty good supernova in the middle of the team fight. 23 needs to make the call of the retreat. They'll get out of range of the egg. It's a lot of abilities now used. Meanwhile, Jabz on the right side, though, does get assassinated. Can you still go for more from Gaimin Gladiators? You don't have the greatest health pool in dyrachyo.
All you've really got left is the Pierce the Veil on to tOfu, and he's got the Aghanim shard as well to be able to play around with, so he can look to stand his ground at man fight, but yeah, like you said, they've got absolutely nothing else. No Dream Call, no Supernova, no Split, no Phantasm even to be able to make plays around. So the fact that, you know, a Wraith King dies, not the greatest, still the very long cooldown on the reincarnation, but he's going to be back up. He's still got the Midas ticking, so I think he's generally okay with things. And he's going to be the one acting as that bait a lot of the time. You can see immediately after that, he queues up the Blade Mail, just making sure that, you know what, if you're going to commit this much onto me, not only are you getting burned, you're also probably going to die.
Really have the lanes in a good position to make something out of the map here, Talon. Have to pick off onto tOfu. They're going to look to maybe connect to top as well. They've got this lane shoved out. Mid's going to be pushed out as well, so they can, I mean, you still got, what, 50 seconds with Egg on cooldown, 57 with the Primal Split, so you can continue to posture pretty aggressively inside Dire's jungle.
Yeah, vision isn't amazing right now for Talon, especially considering it did just turn into nighttime. I would have loved if Ollie was able to, for example, get an observer ward behind that top tier 2 tower just to be able to play around. But you know that Jabz isn't going to be joining in for the next little bit, right? Like, it's still another 40 seconds until he's going to have that reincarnation back and available. So I assume he just wants to get that blade mail before he joins the rest of the boys. But I was really expecting perhaps a little bit more emphasis onto, you know, putting some damage into this tier 2 top.
It's so crazy to see triple Midas and one on a support tiny, a 4 tiny.
Let's go.
Like, what are they doing? This is just classic Talon stuff, man. Let's go late game. Let's
ultimate fake it Q, bro.
A lot of people have mentioned, you know, Jabz are very greedy offlaner. You play ultra late, 3 cores. Why not have a 4th core involved as well? So, a bit of a difference on some of these upcoming fights. Seleri with that 2nd level in the supernova. We've seen eggs have been very difficult for Talon to address. And I do not think that's really going to change unless it's a poor placement of the egg inside the fights or Savage again uses Song to deal with it.
Once it gets later on, I think they're going to be a lot more capable of doing it. Like Jabz will probably go maybe a BKB, maybe a Blink Dagger, but I'm expecting an AC to be coming as well in his future, just to be able to provide that little bit of extra attack speed both for himself and the rest of the team, and provide a little bit of extra protection as well against the likes of that CK.
It's a huge,
pretty huge himself. He's got 4k HP now on dyrachyo, so it was hard to kill him before. Imagine now.
Big boy. You do compare him, though, up against the other carry in Savage. It's about to be a butterfly, which could be a huge item timing. You have seen he's had some difficulties with, like, entering some of these team fights. But this game has really not changed in regard to the status. We've only got 19 kills, 1,000 net worth lead, and I mean, it's been like that for 10+ minutes.
Q once again prioritizing his own mobility. He's got the Ogre Seal Totem as his tier 3 neutral item. A very nice one to be able to have just to provide that little bit of extra quick speed to be able to get in with the Blink Dagger, even just as a tool to be able to get out of that calling as well. Feels really nice.
Dude, Ace is a Manta queued up. You want your own, like, illusion spam of waves? I can do that too. Radiance Manta. All right. Very interesting.
Universal Hero as well. Feels good.
True. So crazy. All right. I wonder what his item's going to be after that.
This top ward is just out of range as well, yeah. Thank you very much, Buzz, for picking this one up.
What do we feel like is realistic here for Talon to be able to get off the back of the ages? Who do you even give it to, firstly? Is there a preference?
I don't know, actually. I mean, maybe they feel like Savage needs it just to be able to play aggressively more with this butterfly that he's freshly picked up, right? Like, if you've got all of this survivability, then you got to do something with it, right? And I feel like he's no stranger to being the one that dives in super deep. Looks like they'll be able to get the Wisdom Rune as well. It always feels like Talon are just waiting for, like, one more item, one more thing. You know, you can go for a little bit more of an aggressive-oriented draft, but at the end of the day, you're going to default back to what's got you to this stage. And, well, 3 Midases and, you know, a little bit of a slower mid-game really does feel like the Talon way. I'm just a little worried that perhaps when they had that previous big timing up top where there were no ultimates on Gaimin Gladiators, that they didn't get enough out of the map. Although, almost a BKB on Mikoto, which will feel real nice for him.
I do like the fact that we see Gem already currently on Gladiators compared to Radiant. And when it's going to come down to with such an even game on who's going to be able to get that jump, you have some very important heroes in their ultimates, and Talon have this potential to blow them up full from 0. This is a very interesting pathing from dyrachyo as well. Jabz is about to be cut off. Now, it, of course, does have reincarnation, so the instant rainbow TPs are out.
He's committing?
dyrachyo did buy the BKB prior, so if required, he can use it to retreat. What is the call?
They're walking through a creep wave.
Savage is charging. Quinn's away from the team as well. You won't have the puck for the moment. It's going to get a bit messy, though.
Yeah. I think they're really just wanting to bait out a few of these big team fight ultimates. Both teams acting as that. You know, can we get the song out of them? Can we get the brew split out of them? Can we get anything? But neither team is going to be taking the bait.
I see. With those TPs down to bottom, let's see what Gladiators can do on the map. This is going to give them at least a bit of advantage with their mobility. We do see instantly Talon moving 2 heroes to top.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense, right? You could sacrifice one lane, but not even that, actually. It's going to be Jabz TPing towards that mid. He is working towards that AC that I was talking about as well. So I really like this. I was considering that because of how effectively he was being controlled in that past fight, that he might be considering a Blink Dagger or a BKB, but this really does feel like A, an egg killer, B, a puck killer with the minus armor, and C, just protection against the Chaos Knight.
One man we haven't spoken about too much this game is Quinn on the park. Of course, he's very comfortable hero, master tier with it. We've seen takeover games in the past. A hero that we don't really get too often at the moment in the meta, but he has a very interesting item queued up in the Mjolnir.
Sure. I mean, going up against an Argasar, it always feels pretty good. He's already got that early Aghanim Shard as well, so he's going to be launching out a lot of attacks, getting a lot of those procs, basically guaranteeing a Maelstrom proc every single time that he uses the phase shift. Plus, it's only going to be one proc, has that little internal cooldown.
We're going to get a fight, yeah, with these Aegis. It's just not going to be a bunch of posturing and people just farming.
You'd hope so.
I'd hope so.
I mean, what's Savage got coming out to it? BKB. I mean, if that says I want to fight, like that is really the one that I'm expecting to see them try and rally around a little bit here on Talon.
They've got to get usage out of this butterfly. Dyrachyo is already halfway towards the MKB. This is a big spike for them. And they currently see Savage away from the team, so they're going to smoke in the opposite direction. Oli might be the first point of contact. He's going to continue running to the left side, so maybe they'll get a juicier kill instead.
Yeah, they've got BKBs though, and they've currently got no way to be able to have that BKB piercing disable right now. Quinn still just level 18.
Seleri, detection. That's a little bit. What's the call going to be? Mikoto turns super early, use of the egg. They don't really have many heroes to protect it though. Mikoto with the alacrity. I mean, it's a big opportunity if Savage wants the song to get some more heroes now. I want to fight. They're coming in. Over to the northern side, dyrachyo assassinated Jabz. So that was a reincarnation used early on. As Ace jumps in the middle, dyrachyo's going to look to get the second life out of Jabz as well. As Savage's song will do nothing. 4v4 at the moment. Gladiators, can they look to get more as well? As Savage is by himself. Talon, they're not in a position to protect him. As GG find a big kill. They're going to be able to surround him on this second life, and Quinn will force away the reinforcements. Savage has the BKB to protect himself momentarily, but look at Ace guiding Mikoto on the backline. That sets up for Quinn's jump, and Orchid will prevent the spell casting, but the dead shot drags him back to dyrachyo, and Ace isn't done just yet. Deep inside the base they go. They might need a toss out. Q, can he protect Savage? They've got the drain. Oli, he'll keep 23 alive for the moment, but there is going to be no response from Talon, and finally there is a big break from Dire.
There is, and I mean, it's unfortunate. Oh, they're still looking like they want to try fighting here on Savage. Again, the Avatos combo was available. Jabz is coming back up.
Savage, can you fight this? I mean, you really don't want to use this Mikoto buyback. You're relying on Oli and Tiny to get you out of danger. Savage gets some distance. Quinn's going to jump to the backline as well, but the spell's still on cooldown for Q. Yours in snare. Avalanche is up in a couple seconds. Dyrachyo's going to try and prevent Q from holding Quinn into place. And meanwhile, these buildings are full. They've held the buyback from Mikoto, but there's still a bit of opportunity to get more kills as Quinn easily jumps and blows up Jabz, and all of a sudden, this game, it's out of control.
Yeah, it's blown wide open, and it goes back to the tiniest of things. They had the glyph for the tier 2 tower that they were fighting underneath. Maybe that extra multi-shot would have also cleared out the creep wave and prevented them from being able to take this tier 3 tower. So little things like that really do add up a whole lot more. They're even able to lay down some vision on this top side of the Radiant base, and they haven't cleared it out just yet. So they know exactly the fact that they are leaving the base. They're not going to be holed up, being played a little scared, and this is really what I was worried about, the fact that with the Aegis, before they hit some of these really scary timings on Gaimin Gladiators, they just didn't get enough out of it.
Dude, that was all without an MKB on dyrachyo. This guy is having an incredible showing. He is nullified Jabz's impact. 2-6-0 from the off-lane Wraith King. You know, he's gone for this Radiance, AC queued up, but we haven't felt his impact. And just dyrachyo is killing him multiple times inside these team fights. He's such a menace. Level 20 now, and with that big item, it does not get easier for Talon.
And you just saw how well Ace was able to deal with the Naga illusions as well, right? Like he's probably as tanky as he's gonna get on 23 Savage. Like he's going into a Scythe next. This isn't a Skadi game for the Naga Siren, right? You're farmed enough. You need to be able to do some damage rather than just be survivable. But just takes so much damage from that Dispel Magic from the Brewmaster.
And dude, they killed the egg without anyone else there. Like, that start of the fight for Talon where you didn't have to commit too heavily to get a big hero. Like, it's not only the egg, but it's the Sunray as well from Seleri, who we might see have a lot of impact inside this smoke engagement. Not a lot of heroes in Savage. That's the real Naga. Dude, Savage pops the BKB, no messing around. He bought out too. This is a Hex now completed for 23.
It's also a Mjolnir now finished up by Quinn. Damage from the puck is going to be super significant. Has he got an AC coming out to him as well on the Brew? What did he recently buy? Octarine, never mind.
Dude, he's so farmed.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Quickening Charm on top of it. One of the better neutral items for the Brewmaster.
Wouldn't hate seeing an Axe from him just to have that permanent Storm Brewling out?
So it's
just taking over the map.
They are not stopping as well. Double siege wave. A force Talon back to base.
Even an aggressive Glyph coming through here, wanting to protect this wave as much as possible.
Seen previously, the teamfight ultimates have been disastrous for Talon inside the fights. They're going to jump Jabz again to start. Should be able to kill the first life without committing too heavily. What can Talon do to protect Jabz on the respawn? Get some separation to the right side. There's the song. They can help protect Jabz, but do they go back in afterwards?
Got a toss on Q.
They're so hesitant.
They're not going to get anything.
Oh, wow. I mean, this is just some incredible 5v5 team for gaming. And we're seeing these big ultimates just be such a concern for Talon. They don't have ways to address them at the moment. They're going to try and make a fight occur with your Phantasm split on cooldown, but these are for 40 seconds.
They smoked under the ward.
Okay.
They know it's coming. They're just backing off completely. Might even be looking to go through the Twin Gate and get the hell out of there, but looks like it's the high ground that they're wanting to play around, banking on the fact that Roshan might have respawned. It's a really long one. Probably the longest they could have possibly hoped for on Gaimin Gladiators, and you don't want to walk up into this.
Quinn's in a great spot. Pops the smoke, gets the information. They're going to use the ward as well. Q will find a pretty good initiation onto the Phoenix. There's just no follow-up.
No, boys.
Salary's okay. Q's jumped into the lion's den, and Talon don't want to follow him to death. They'll look to retreat to the southern side. Dyrachyo's gone far too forward. It's a big go to the chaos side if they're going to be able to find it. A supernova dropped on the Hex. They're going to try and turn to deal with the egg. I don't know if they got the right clicks. Egg will pop at the last second. Mikoto's in some danger. Dyrachyo with the instant buyback into the middle, but Savage, he'll give them an opportunity to retreat. Ace, he actually cancelled the TP. The Bruling stops Savage from getting out. They cannot chase the Naga Siren down to the south. Quinn, he got Mikoto as well. A disastrous fight. The buyback from dyrachyo, huge. The egg, even better. And now Gaimin Gladiators can look to walk it down and go for the finishing blow. Savage wants to bring one man to the grave, but he won't even do that.
They got absolutely nothing left as well. Q doing his best to try and delay the push, but Ace is everywhere, man. Topping the net worth for Gaimin Gladiators right now, and he's being the absolute bane of this Naga Siren's existence. No song save, no Naga illusions in the early game, even just the Radiance for that aspect there.
2 fights, apparently, is all you need, especially with the caliber of this team. You give them an advantage, and they will completely take over the map and not look back from there. About to be mega creeps for Talon to deal with.
They're going to hold on, but still another 20 seconds until you're going to get any sort of cause back into this game. And they went for a slightly more aggressive route, but then the greed took over. The classic mentality of wanting to go into that late game. SEA plays it better than a lot of other teams and a lot of other regions, but it's just not enough. Jabz
is like, take my life instead. They were just turned to the throw. Mikoto's back. You've got, I mean, Savage in fight, but it's far too long. Couple seconds too long. In fact, in Gaimin Gladiators will be rewarded with their gameplay with a first map victory 39 minutes in.
And it's a convincing one as well, right? Let's see, pretty even in the